Hello all, my name is Jeremy Thompson. I'm a safety engineer in the Ohio DOT's Highway Safety Program. Sorry I can't be there with you today live. We're having our annual statewide safety meeting with our districts. So just so you can put a face to a name, here's me on a hike at Zion National Park a couple years ago. Lovely experience. So today I'm going to be presenting on a couple of ways that Ohio is trying to better understand the safety performance of some of our initiatives and projects, as well as one of the ways that we're working to integrate the safe system approach DOT-wide via enhanced project level decision making, primarily through the development of a context classification guide and the kind of subsequent policy decisions we make around that. So first, I'm going to discuss the use of telematics to better understand our approach and how we address distracted driving and how we're tracking the efficacy of our relatively new primary hands-free law. It's been around for about 2 years now. Before I talk about the use of the telematics data itself, though, I wanted to share our approach to messaging since the new law was put into place. On the left is our kind of bread and butter campaign that we've had since the law came about, where we take several settings where it's okay to use your phone and take a here, not there approach. So in that graphic, you're free to use your phone at a basketball game, but never behind the wheel. I guess our tack to this is we're not trying to totally take away people's phone use, but there are places where it is unacceptable. And then on the right middle and right side of your screen, we've also made available several toolkits to local governments and law enforcement agencies so they can do their own messaging, share things on their own social media platforms, and then have developed some other information packets and things like that that are available at the BMV and other places, large employers, things like that. Another tack that we've taken over the last couple of years is a paid and earned media strategy. So we can maintain a higher level of awareness that phones down is the way to go. In partnership with our traffic safety office, which is under the Department of Public Safety, we spend roughly $2 million a year on this paid and earned media strategy. So using both those HSIP and NHTSA dollars to make this happen. You can see this text is a little small, but this allows us to invest in a variety of different media platforms, from TV to radio to online streaming services like Twitch and YouTube, where we show these commercials. So in the middle of streams or on our professional or collegiate sports platforms on television. So now to the data itself that we're using to kind of track the efficacy of the law or the efficacy of any of these campaigns. So we're looking at how we can leverage primarily the cell phone data through telematics providers, and we've been working with Cambridge Mobile Telematics for this. So these charts from CMT show kind of different types of handheld phone use and screen interaction on the county level across the state. So this more macro level of data at the county level has kind of been able to showcase general phone use, and particularly we're looking at phone tapping events and handheld call rates. So we're able to compare kind of county to county, see where we might want to target some of these campaigns or deploy law enforcement in higher numbers to target distracted driving. But we can also just kind of gamify this a little bit, show how we compare to the national average, show how counties compare, neighboring counties compare, things like that. So it's helpful more than one way. I'm going to play a short clip showing some of the more granular data that we're also looking at on this platform. So in this video, on the Street Vision platform that through Cambridge Mobile Telematics, we're zooming in to a specific county and then a specific city, and you can see the spikes of phone use along the network. And within this, we can sort by either tapping, which is more indicative of texting or using an app while in control of a vehicle, um, or time spent on a handheld call. So we could kind of sort between the two different types of distraction, um, and kind of look at a more granular level there. It's particularly useful when we're looking to refine any sort of media strategy. So if we want to get hyper local with it, this type of data has been useful, especially with enforcement. Enforcement has to be hyper local typically. So getting down to this granular data set has allowed kind of our partners in various law enforcement agencies around the state to better target where they might want to do enforcement blitzes related to distracted driving. So that's just kind of a quick glance of how we're using telematics data to kind of track the efficacy of and better address track the efficacy of our distracted driving law and better address distracted driving through our behavioral campaigns, media campaigns, and enforcement around the state. Next, I'm going to pivot and talk about how we're tracking safety performance on projects. So every year we do project evaluation. So updated on annual basis. We're actually updating kind of our next year's right now. Should be ready here shortly. Um, and I will note that these project evaluations I'm talking about, they're only done for projects that include safety dollars around the state. For us, that means our total highway safety improvement program formula allotment. But we also get a considerable amount of money out of the state budget, and some of the, those more flexible federal funds are added to our safety budget as well. So we get about 80% more than our formula allotment. So our formula amount is about $100 million a year, and we get about 185, give or take a few million in any given year for our budget. The projects that we're analyzing here, so I mentioned they're only those safety projects, but we're looking at projects that have at least 3 years of post-construction data as well. So this is kind of a lagging metric in the end. Our dashboard right now is looking at projects. The most recent year projects were constructed in on the dashboard is 2020, and we're adding those 2021 projects in now. And I will note that because this is lagging metrics, we are trying to adjust for inflation and volume changes that happen before and after the project and during the project life cycle when we're talking about things like benefit cost and crash rate reduction and things like that. So the first page on our dashboard that we've created that we can reference or districts can reference is focused solely on how well projects year by year and district by district have reduced crashes. So just a more holistic view of how we're reducing all crashes on the right, injury crashes in the middle, and severe crashes there on the left. This just kind of gives us those early general insights. Helps us know whether the projects that we are funding are actually effective. But also, if we take kind of that district by district view, it helps us know like what districts we might need to target for more effective projects if they haven't seen the crash reductions that other districts have. The next sheet that we have is dedicated to showcasing effectiveness by project categories or types. So in our project tracking system, there are a few different data elements that we can pull to assign a project a specific category or subcategory. And I'm not going to show this, but we can kind of drill down those little plus buttons kind of to the left of each row and see the effectiveness of these different project categories or types by district as well. So maybe certain projects aren't working as well in certain regions of the state, or certain projects aren't working as well overall, and this can help us make better decisions moving forward and how we want to allocate the funding through our safety program. The last page that we have on this dashboard is focused on the benefit cost of our projects. I guess to gloat a bit, we've had a realized benefit cost of 2.21 on projects that were constructed 2016 through 2020, funded with safety dollars. So we're starting to use this data to determine how we can better and more effectively spend those dollars, bump up that benefit cost ratio. But I will note at the same time, some of these project categories or subcategories only have one or two projects represented within the data at this point. So moving forward with the understanding that that data may be skewed, we can't use a single project to make program level decisions. So um, we'll wait for a few more projects under those categories or project types to be constructed before we're changing how we invest it in that specific project type. Um, we do an additional project evaluation for roundabouts, arc cuts, and road diets. They're probably our three most popular and I guess at the same time most controversial types of projects that we're doing. And they're also the largest projects typically that we would fund through our safety program in like the $2 to $6 million range is what we're looking at, that depending on the individual project. So because of the popularity of these project types and the controversy that can come with them, we've added an additional layer to how we're tracking these. So beyond that dashboard that I showed, which does give us a general overview of these project types as well. Um, we've drilled down these, looked at taking a more granular approach, and are looking at specific crash types as well, and how those are addressed through these three different project types. So um, as you can see, all of these have been successful in reducing crashes overall, particularly successful at reducing our injury and severe crashes. And then they've been successful in reducing those target crash types that we want with these. So those left turn and angle crashes there with arc cuts. Roundabouts, we also track those. I know it's not on the graphic on the screen, but road diets, we're seeing a slew of different crash types reduced, but typically, we're looking at speed related or vulnerable road user crashes that we're trying to reduce with the implementation of a road diet, and those have been reduced in pretty good numbers. And the benefit cost of these three project types has been pretty good. I mean, road diets and arc cuts specifically, as you can see in the graphic on the kind of bottom right side of the screen there. Roundabouts benefit cost not as great. They're expensive projects typically. But we do know that they kind of eliminate that potential for a severe angle crash. So we're still on board, and we know the life cycle of a roundabout is very long term. So next I'm going to talk about safe system integration through context classification. Now this is kind of a very specific way that we're integrating the safe system approach. So it's going to be kind of a more cursory look at how we're doing it. I won't get up here and say that we've done some sort of like full integration at this point, but here's one specific way that we are looking to better integrate the safe system approach across our DOT. Um, so I know context classification and I guess incorporating land use into transportation decision making has been a hot topic in our profession for a while now. Just in case anyone's unfamiliar, I'll give a little background. So the idea is that land use is extremely important in the transportation world, and the decisions that we make, the policies we make, and things like that. Historically, a lot of our guidance, a lot of our resources have been focused on that urban and rural dichotomy, sometimes throwing in suburban in there for the trichotomy, and those perspectives. But our built environment and the guidance we provide can't just be defined by those. I think we've realized that that's not good enough. It's not far-reaching enough. Um, so we are working in Ohio to develop a context classification guide where we're identifying the land uses that exist in the state, like you see on this kind of draft map that we've created here, um, and develop some guidance and some resources around how to proactively implement certain countermeasures or um, certain projects by land use. We'll also provide guidance on things like target speed, which is definitely aligned with the safe system approach. So in this guide, again, we're working to equip our practitioners and decision makers around the state with information on how to proactively address potential safety hazards within their projects by the land use that segment, corridor, network might be traveling through. Graphics like this one that I stole from the Maryland DOT will be used in our guide. It'll look pretty similar to portray the various elements that our project planners, decision makers on the project level should be including in their projects to kind of achieve or get closer towards having those safe roads or safe systems elements of the safe system fulfilled. And then even before a project goes development, kind of the work that we're doing to develop this guide and kind of the data element that's happening in the background of the guide development here will be super useful to us to help just better understand our system overall. So with the draft map that I showed a couple of slides ago, we've done some analyses. Again, the map's just in draft form, so we haven't spent a ton of time yet doing doing any sort of analyses based off of it, but we've done a cursory look at like certain crash types by land use, or we've also looked at certain crash types by land use and functional class pairs. So we can use that to better understand, you know, um, like expected user types, modal hierarchies, things like that, where we definitely need to take into account certain users and certain land uses. I mentioned we're developing a guide now. We're still fairly early in the development of the guide and its integration into our various processes, but we are very excited for the impact that we think it's going to make in our state, particularly in our approach to how we plan projects and how we execute those projects and make those project level decisions to make sure we're accommodating the users we need to accommodate in a safe, accessible, comfortable manner. That's all I got today. Appreciate your time again. Sorry I couldn't be there, but my email is there on the screen. Please reach out if you want to follow up and discuss any of the topics I shared today. Thanks again.